Hello and welcome. My name is Kim with Lotus Within Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me today for my yin practice. We're going to be doing a little bit of hips, a little bit into the shoulders, and a little bit of twisting. So grab your props, grab your water, get yourself set up, and let's get started. All right, so we're going to start today's class in a comfortable, maybe not comfortable, Sphinx pose. So go ahead, lay down onto your belly. Toes going back behind you. You're going to start to stack your shoulders over top of your elbows. Just take a moment to really find yourself in this posture. Trying to make sure that you're peeling the heart up and open. If your shoulders are a little stiff, maybe taking the shoulders a little bit wider. And only coming up is comfortable for you. Listening to your body. Knowing that at any point in time, you can bring yourself back down a little bit. Not coming right up to your edge, but just to the point where you feel it in that comfortable discomfort. Legs can be as wide or close together as comfortable for you. If you have a bolster, you could always lay that bolster in front of your chest, wrapping your arms around. That's always a nice, comfortable spot. And just take a moment to find your breath. Sphinx is a great pose to encourage the natural bend into our lumbar spine. We tend to sit at our desks, hunching forward, looking at our phones. This just helps encourage that natural curve back into our spine. If your neck is getting tender and you have a block, you could always place that block ahead of you, resting your forehead on that block. Just really finding a place in this pose that works for your body, where you're at today. Mindfully keeping the shoulders back and down your spine, not wearing your shoulders as earrings. And focusing on that nice, slow inhale and exhale through the nose. On your next exhale, you can start to walk the elbows out to the side. And just slightly bringing your head down to rest onto your hands. This posture can feel quite intense as you come out of it. Just give yourself a moment to take a breath. And when you're ready, we're going to come to a child's pose. So placing the hands underneath your shoulders, coming up onto our knees, taking the knees wide, as wide as comfortable for you. Feet come to touch as you bring your hips back. Bringing the arms forward and dropping the heart down to the mat. Trying to keep the back as long as possible. Just finding your edge. If this at all becomes too uncomfortable for your hips and your knees, you could always bring your knees together and draping the body over your thighs. Encouraging the heart to come down to the floor as much as possible while reaching the arms up and overhead. Noticing our breath. If at any time you're no longer connected or feeling the breath through the body, come out of the pose just a little bit. You may have gone too far. Take another 2 deep inhalations and exhalations here. And when you're ready, start to slowly bring yourself up to a tabletop pose. Stacking your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. If your body needs a little cat-cow movement here, go ahead, take a couple breaths. And when you're ready, start to walk the hands forward, keeping the knees stacked underneath the hips, walking the hands as forward as possible and what is comfortable to you, and then dropping the heart down towards the mat. Maybe again, finding a block to go underneath your forehead. If you're looking for a little bit more, you could always put some blocks underneath your forearms. And sending your breath to your shoulders and your spine. And coming to your edge. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. If you have any sensation in your knees and they're getting sore, you can always grab a towel and fold that up and place it underneath your knees, giving yourself a little extra cushion. If your forehead is on the ground, maybe taking a moment to roll out your third eye, and then coming back into stillness. Take another 2 deep inhalations and exhalations through the nose. And once you've completed that, you can start to slowly walk the hands back in, coming into that tabletop. Taking your time, there is no rush. And when you're ready, we're going to start to bring the right knee up towards the right wrist. Maybe our ankle comes to our left wrist. Starting to lean down onto that shin, sending that left leg back. Coming into our swan. Taking a moment to really make sure that there's no pinching or twisting out of your knee and that the rotation is coming out of your hip. At any point in time, if this is not the pose for you, you can go ahead and roll onto your right hip, keeping the front right leg as it is, bringing the left leg out to a 90 degree, causing 290 degrees into your your deer pose. And you can either come forward or start to lean back, whatever works for your body. And once you've taken the time to find the centeredness into your hips, you can either go forward, stay here, or I invite you to do a twist. So walking the right hand out in front of you, taking your left hand and tucking it underneath, coming onto that left shoulder blade. Maybe your ear rests to the mat. Maybe it doesn't. You could always use a block. Your right arm can come up above you, or you can bring it up and tuck it onto your lower back. And breathing. Again, only going in as deep as the pose as works for your body. There should be no numbing, tingling, pinching sensations. Finding comfort in the discomfort of the posture. Take another inhalation and exhalation here. And when you're ready, take that right hand, place it back down in front of your face. If you've done the thread the needle, gently start to press your body back up. And then bring yourself slowly and at your own time back into your tabletop pose. When you're ready, start to bring that left knee up to the left wrist. Maybe your shin lays perpendicular up against the mat here, or you can tuck your ankle in. That's not a big deal, whatever works for your body type. Start to bring that right leg back, squaring off through the hips, or maybe coming into that deer pose, coming onto your left hip with your right leg coming out. Just remember, listen to your knees. They're not as easily replaceable. And when you're ready, just coming into the same variation that you found on your right side, maybe walking your left hand forward, opening up through the right shoulder, and finding thread the needle arms on the other side. Again, with your left hand either above, or you can bring it to rest on your lower back. Take another inhalation and exhalation here. And when you're ready, placing that left palm back in front of your face, bringing yourself back up through center. This time we're going to roll onto the left hip, bringing our right leg up and in front of us. You can bring the feet together, knees apart. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by ants here. Bringing your feet together, and your knees flopping open to the sides. Your feet can be as far out or as close to your pelvis as comfortable for you. Maybe removing the fleshy bits of our bottom. Sitting straight and tall. You can start to walk the hands forward. Coming into a butterfly. Not finding our peak posture. Just coming down until you start to feel it. Allowing the muscles to relax. Maybe taking blocks, propping them underneath our knees for a little added support. Take one more mindful breath here. And on your next inhale, start to walk the hands back in towards the body, bringing yourself slowly back up. Take the hands to the outside of your knees as you guide them back together and start to lower down onto your spines. Keeping the feet placed onto the earth, you're going to take your right ankle and place it over your left thigh, guiding that right knee down to the bottom right-hand corner of your mat. Maybe this is enough here for you, or you can go ahead and start to bring the left leg in closer, maybe holding behind the hamstrings or maybe the shin. Again, engaging through our right foot to keep that knee nice and protected. And elongating the spine, encouraging the tailbone down towards the earth. you have that left leg raised, go ahead and place the sole of the foot back onto the earth. Gently picking up your hips and shifting them over to the right side of your mat. You can either cross the legs here or keep them together. And start to drop the knees over to the left side. Arms out to a cactus or a T, encouraging that right shoulder blade down towards the mat. Maybe your gaze stays up, or you can drop it over your right shoulder. You can always place a bolster underneath your knees, place them on a block, whatever suits you. Take another inhalation and exhalation here. And when you're ready, bringing one knee up at a time. Come back through center. Placing the sole of the right foot onto the mat, take your left foot and cross it over top of your right thigh, encouraging that left knee down to the left bottom corner of your mat. Keeping an engagement through your left foot to protect that left knee. Maybe this is enough here. Or you can start to draw in the right leg, maybe holding behind the hamstrings, or maybe grabbing onto that right shin, gently guiding the legs inwards. while mindfully creating that long spine, encouraging our tailbone down towards the earth. Maybe a slight tuck of the chin to encourage a nice long neck. If you have that right leg raised, softly bring the sole of the foot back onto the earth. Lightly picking up our hips, shifting them to the left side of our mat, maybe crossing our legs over one another or stacking the knees. Allow the knees to fall to the right. Keeping our left shoulder down towards the mat. Maybe taking our hands to a cactus or a T. And if it's comfortable for your neck, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. And again, using props wherever you see fit. Taking one more inhalation and exhalation here through the nose. And when you're ready, one knee at a time, gently bring yourself back up through center. Sending both feet down the mat, taking the legs wide as comfortable. Bringing the arms down to lay beside you with palms up to the sky. Coming into our most important pose, Shavasana. Softening out through our forehead, our eyebrows, and our eyes, your jaw, and your tongue. And just melt into the mat and surrender. Take a big, deep belly breath in through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out. Let's do one more. Big inhalation, expanding through the belly. And exhale, sigh it out. Start to bring some presence back to your body, wiggling through your fingers and your toes, rolling out through your wrists and your ankles. Maybe sending the arms up above and the feet down, the big good morning stretch. And as you exhale, bring the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Next, you can roll to one side as you gently bring yourself back up into a comfortable seated position. There's no rush. Take your time. Thank you so much for joining me with this beautiful yin practice. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to know your thoughts and how this felt for you. Thank you so much. Namaste.